And welcome back to the Battle for Atlantis. On this Thanksgiving night, we get ready to wrap up the day with the Michigan Wolverines from the Big Ten taking on from Conference USA, the Charlotte 49ers. And we hope that you and yours have had a great Thanksgiving. And welcome back inside Imperial Arena. Kenny Rice, Seth Davis, Tom Walsh. We get ready for the 49ers and the Wolverines. Now, it's been really interesting here to take a look at this Michigan team. We know they have one of the best players in the country, and Karis LeVert, but he needs some help. He didn't get it last night. Who might be able to help him out tonight?
Well, I think the top candidate would be Derek Walton Jr. He is the junior point guard who, like Karis LeVert, missed the last month and a half of the season last year with a foot injury, had a career-high 24 points against Elon, but has not played as well the last two games, and not coincidentally, Michigan has lost both those games. He's only averaged 7 points as they lost to Xavier, and then last night they lost again to UConn. So Derek Walton Jr.'s got to make plays. He's got to make outside shots for Michigan to get back on the winning track.
Braxton O'Boise is a guy that can score, but there's a lot of guys that can score. Charlotte has had 4 different leading scorers in every game this year, but O'Boise brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's a very athletic player. He's a good shooter, a high basketball IQ. They prefer to play him off the ball as opposed to playing the point. He can play them both, but for Charlotte to win tonight, O'Boise will have to have a nice offensive performance for the 49ers.
And it is these teams meeting for the 3rd time in their history. Charlotte has actually won both meetings, including 2 years ago when they upset a 13th ranked Michigan team. And now we take a look at the starting lineups presented by Coke Zero, the official fan refreshment of the NCAA tournament. And you heard Seth talk about Walton. LeVert, we know, is the star here. Ricky Doyle is tough inside. Dawkins has potential to score. Irvin, who is still coming back from a back injury, not quite at full strength. He played well last night. So that's the lineup that John Beilein, now in his 38th year as a head coach, his 9th as the head man of the Wolverines, brings in here with a 2-2 record. Michigan dropping their last couple of games. And we take a look at Charlotte. A lot of guys can score, including Bernard Sullivan, who is also averaging in double figures. He had a dozen against Syracuse. Inside, Ochibo, the transfer from Pitt, with a double-double last night, including 16 rebounds against Syracuse. And then Davis and White rounding out the lineup for the best shooter, we think, in the entire tournament. On any team, anywhere, that's the former All-NBA guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Mark Price, longtime assistant in the NBA, now in his first year as a head collegiate coach, taking over this 49er program. He told us one of the reasons he was living in Charlotte, obviously working with the Hornets. He liked the opportunity to try to get this program rejuvenated and also to stay at his home area. He'll try it now with his 1-3 49ers coming out in their green and gold uniforms.
And as you guys know, I had my 11-year-old son Zachary with me all day the last couple of days in their practices. Tried to convince him that that guy, the Charlotte coach, was not a good NBA player. He was a great NBA player, a 4-time NBA All-Star, 2nd best free throw shooter in league history. Happened to be living in Charlotte as an assistant with the Hornets the last couple of years, and the opening came at the university and they approached him. And let me tell you something, he can go into people's living rooms and say, I know how to play in the NBA. I know how to help you get to the NBA. It's a great sell for a college coach, and he knows better than most that the coach needs good players to win games.
He was the star Cavalier long before LeBron, for those that can remember. Mike Stewart, Gary Maxwell, and Darren George, our officiating crew. And here we go. Doyle will jump it up against Sullivan. And the Wolverines control. Here's Walton, Derek Walton Jr. out of Detroit. LeVert on top.
A tough defensive assignment for freshman Adrian White to try to hang with Karis LeVert. Look for him to take advantage. Charlotte really going to not be able to put the size on Michigan like some other teams have been able to do.
Shot clock at 3, foul is called. And it's on Sullivan. Bernard Sullivan, the 6'8" redshirt senior out of Gastonia, North Carolina. Transferred in from Clemson, picks it up.
Sullivan's had a nice start to the season. Missed the first 19 games last year because of a concussion. So he was behind, but a little undersized, of course, in the middle, but he is effective.
Karis LeVert out top. LeVert, nice move. Can't finish it. Doyle is there to do it. Ricky Doyle, the 6'9" sophomore from Cape Coral, Florida, getting the first two.
Well, Doyle's a big body. Very physical. He started off fast last night. Starts fast again this evening.
John Davis, 6'2" freshman, Upper Marlboro, Maryland, with it out front. They work inside, and there's Sullivan, nice move. Averages 11. One of those guys that can be the leading scorer. As we said, they've had 4 different ones so far. Turnover, Michigan.
Big reason for Michigan's struggles early is that 2 of their core 4, as John Beilein likes to call them, Zach Irvin and Spike Albrecht, still recovering their bodies from off-season surgery. They're healthy enough to play, but they've got a long ways to go in terms of their strength and conditioning.
Oh, Boise misses outside. Ochibo inside, can't get it to go. Here's Walton running for Michigan. Aubrey Dawkins. Now Irvin. Doyle gets it down low. Backs in on Ochibo. And takes an extra step. Another Michigan turnover. Couple of them here early on.
Well, that's why Michigan doesn't usually play through the post. When Doyle and then Mark Donnell, if he comes in, when he comes in, they're better off catching and finishing as opposed to doing a back-to-the-basket move.
Here's a steal. The other way is Walton. Takes it in, leaves it off, and laying it through easily is Zach Irvin.
Nice job by Walton. Quick hands, picked his pocket. Hit the trailer.
Ochibo down low, draws the foul.
Nice play by Ochibo. Got the entry pass, quick spin, beat Doyle. Got the drop step on him and drew the foul.
We talked about the rebuilding job that Lorenzo Romar's trying to do at Washington. His team looks like a bunch of grizzled veterans compared to what Mark Price has to deal with. They finished 11th in Conference USA last year, lost 4 starters. 4 of their top 7 players transferred. He came in, only had a couple guys on scholarship, and he was scrambling to find replacements and hitting the recruiting trail, picking up some transfers.
Brought in this grad student from Pittsburgh in Ochibo, who had 12 points, 16 last night against Syracuse on the boards. An impressive outing for him, and he's tied it at 4.
He's got a soft touch for a big man as well.
Moritz Wagner with the ball. The 6'10" freshman from Berlin, Germany, in for the first time for Michigan. There he is, top of the key. Ochibo on him.
John Beilein was going to redshirt Wagner.
And another turnover, and you see Walton telling Wagner to pay attention here.
See, Walton expressing frustration, but that's on Walton. He's got to know that Wagner's not ready to make that catch.
So 3 early turnovers here for Michigan.
Point guards don't like to hear it, but most coaches will tell you anytime it's a turnover, it's the fault of the passer.
Outside, Adrian White, the freshman from Richmond, Virginia, nails the 3. Charlotte up 3.
Nice little confidence boost for the 49ers.
Charlotte basically only has 2 3-point threats, so not much of an excuse for letting that open.
Karis LeVert misses, but he's fouled by White.
Interesting, I think he may have been behind the arc. He is going to get 3 points, excuse me, 3 free throws.
Which is almost like 3 points as well as he shoots. There you see Charlotte They last met in a tournament in Puerto Rico a couple of years ago.
Yep, clearly behind the three-point arc.
And LeVert, an 83% free throw shooter, averaging 19 points on the season.
Mark Price, the 49ers coach, a career 90% free throw shooter in the NBA for the 49ers.
See, I told you, all three. He's almost automatic. LeVert ties it at 7. Davis directs traffic. Ochebo setting a high screen, taking it all the way in. A nice move and the little flip with the reverse for John Davis.
Wagner has some ability offensively, but he is such a liability right now defensively. Davis just went right by him, and he was standing still.
Wagner sets the screen for Walton. Irvin from 3. Zach Irvin, the junior from Fishers, Indiana, nails it and ties it up. Michigan takes the lead 10-9.
And that's the John Beilein game right there.
Something they couldn't find last night, except for LeVert, with someone to hit outside. Charlotte gets it back. Shot clock still ticking, though, against them. It's down to 12 seconds. Sullivan. Boise. Shot clock is at 3. And having to take the deep 3 is Davis not there. Skying for the rebound, Aubrey Dawkins. LeVert on the baseline to Irvin. Expect to see that a lot this year, Michigan fans. Wolverines up 3.
Zach Irvin had a horrible time shooting last night. Was 1 for 10. The coaches told him they wanted to be more selective while he gets his strength back.
Boise can't find it. Ochebo gets the rebound inside, and he's tied up. Charlotte hanging tough with Michigan right now for Coach Mark Price. Inside all the way, John Davis, his team down by 3.
TV, brought to you by the Paradise Island Tourism Development Association. Experience paradise in a whole new way.
And back here at the battle for Atlantis, Wolverines up 12-9 on the 49ers of Charlotte. Michigan winning their first 2 games of the year and then losing to Xavier and then losing last night here to Connecticut, but still the maize and blue well represented. And they're hoping that they can close out strong. Winner of this game advancing on to play Texas tomorrow night. Charlotte needs a timeout, can't get it in. Can't throw it in time, so they'll collect themselves once again against this Michigan defense.
Well, I'd say so far for the 49ers. You had to script out the first 5 minutes of this game. Coach Mark Price would be pretty happy if you told him he was going to be 12-9 inbounding the ball. I think his teams look pretty good early.
Earlier today, in case you have missed it, it was the upset of the tournament so far. Texas A&M knocking off 10th-ranked Gonzaga, so the Aggies will play the Orange as Syracuse knocks off number 18 UConn. And it'll be UConn and Gonzaga playing tomorrow afternoon for 3rd. And then tomorrow night, Texas plays the winner of this game, and the loser will play Washington. Now back to action. John Davis tries again to inbounds, and he does get it outside to Sullivan. Boise between the circles will run the offense. He's guarded by Karis LeVert. Ochebo gets it out high, dumps it down low to Sullivan. Spins, can't get it to go. Out of bounds, last touch Charlotte. Anthony Van Hook comes in the lineup for Charlotte. And Sullivan gets Sullivan staying in the game. Going out is Ochebo. Walton bringing it up on Davis. Wagner sets the screen, now gets it out high against Sullivan takes it in, spins. Nice move by the big freshman. Gets the basket and goes to the line. Moritz Wagner, the 6'10 German.
A nice spin inside. He went to the left hand, got the contact, and put it in. This young man shows a lot of emotion when he plays. You saw it on the ball that was thrown away by Walton. Here was the good emotion after the big basket and the foul.
Well, offensively, he's just has a lot more potential than Ricky Doyle and Mark Donnell. So, like I said earlier, they thought they were going to redshirt him, but decided very early on that they needed his help, especially on the offensive end. Defensively, he's got a long way to go.
Michigan with their biggest lead. And here they come again. Levert inside. Wagner again with the basket.
Just too easy right now for the Wolverines.
He gives them such a different dimension.
They're on a 10-0 run, and they have their biggest lead. Camage in the game. Radell Camage outside. Charlotte trying to get something going. Van Hook goes down the middle. They use a lot of people, and a foul is called out front.
They're going to leave Wagner in the game. I mean, if he could get to a point by the time they start Big Ten play where he could give them maybe 15, 20 minutes a game, that's a huge win. Because that would mean he's earned those minutes.
Dennis Grisionis comes in the lineup, along with Curran Scott, who now has the ball for the 49ers. Davis in the paint, extra step, turnover.
Yeah, good call. Darren George shuffled those feet. Robinson in the game right now for the Wolverines. This young man struggled last night, but this young man can really shoot lights out.
That's Duncan Robinson, who started out, played Division III ball at Williams College. Levert working on Scott. In the middle, Irvin floats it through. And Michigan continues to build it up here, 19-9.
Totally different Zach Irvin. What a lift to see him coming around now, 4 for 4.
49ers can't get a basket here. Clock ticking on them. It's up to 3:27 without a field goal. Outside is Camage, down the lane. Not there. Here comes Michigan again. Moving it out is Walton. Wagner spinning, drop step, basket. Will they count it? He draws the foul on Camage as well.
Mo minutes. Mo minutes. Mo Buckets is his name, I think.
His nickname is Mo, and there he does it.
That's what they call him,
Moritz
Big Mo.
Wagner.
Giving him some momentum.
From Berlin, Germany.
Up, under, finish with the left.
You got a nice attitude, a little bit of sarcasm. I know, Seth, you can't appreciate that, but they ask him, what does he do really well? He says, speak German. So I do that really well. He does that really well, too. Hits the free throw. He's having a career night with 8 points already. Michigan 22-9.
Mo money, Mo buckets.
Cameron Chapman comes in for Michigan for the first time in this tournament. He comes in along with Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman, who had some good minutes last night. Rockman's out front guarding Davis.
Really small lineup right now for the 49ers on the floor.
Scott inside and breaks the drought for Charlotte. Curran Scott, 6'4" freshman from Edmond, Oklahoma.
Nice move there by Scott. Took it inside amongst the trees. Little pump fake and a nice finish.
DJ Wilson in, sets the screen. Walton tries to give it back over to him, or that was Abdur-Rahman with the pass. Out of bounds, it'll go to Charlotte. And we've got a timeout. Michigan, so far playing strong. They're up 22-11 in the battle for Atlantis. Well, Spike Albrecht and Sean Lonergan had some fun on the water slide. It looks just that way. You go down, you slide between sharks, and you come out safely at the other end. So far, everyone has. Right now, Charlotte may feel like they're on that slide, and the Sharks are able to break through the tube as Michigan's built up a 22-11 lead. There they are with their hair drying and their shirts back on. They've had a nice time down here. They took advantage of coming down just a little early. Most of the teams do. Trying to make it a little bit of a pleasure trip for at least a day or so before they get down to the business of basketball.
Yeah, you got to remember these are young men. Yes, they're here to do a job. It's a business trip, but it's always good to mix in a little pleasure. What I enjoyed about that video was actually seeing it, because normally when I'm doing those slides, my eyes are closed. So nice to see what it looks like inside. Good camera work.
We took our smallest cameraman in that tube to get that shot. Back to action. Curran Scott out front. Baseline, Van Hook. Inside, Graciones. Back out front, they'll work it. And once again, Davis will make a run at it. Tough shot, won't go. Rebound, Karis LeVert. Here's Michigan.
Nice job by the Wolverines sealing the defensive glass. There were 3 white jerseys, only 1 green.
Wilson shot not there. Right back is Scott. Abdur Rahman comes over with the defense, loses it out of bounds, and it will be Michigan's ball again. As with most of the teams in Conference USA, the host conference for this tournament, even though we saw UAB as they got better last year and made a nice run in the NCAA tournament, is the size factor.
Yes.
The depth factor usually, and the fact that most of these teams will not be able to go more than about 6'8" inside. Shot by Chapman, not there. Here comes Charlotte running again. Rydell Camage. Back in the game, O'Boise. Down low, Gracinos. Can't get it to go again. Well, here comes Charlotte. Another turnover for Michigan. Scott, all the way. He has a couple of baskets.
Nice explosive step there by Curran Scott.
Scott averaging 8. Yeah, got 4 in this one so far.
Set up by the bad pass by LeVert. LeVert should get the assist for that basket. You don't want to get sloppy. I know you're up and in control, but you don't want to get sloppy. Still want to keep good habits.
LeVert gives it over to Chapman. Wilson backs off, shot clock at 1. Not there. O'Boise now running for Charlotte. Graciones comes out high. Camage backs off, fires up the 3. And they're not getting a second shot. LeVert taking it all the way for the Wolverines and puts it in.
That's easy pickings right there. Karis LeVert in space, used his body. He'll make that all day.
He has 5, Michigan up 24-13.
Well, Boise needs to get untracked offensively for the 49ers.
Camage hits a 3.
Well, Boise found him that time with the assist. But Boise 0 for 2, and he's the guy that really can fill it up if he gets going.
Charlotte got back in the game a bit with Syracuse yesterday by hitting their outside shots. LeVert gets the pick from Wilson. Gives it right back to him, and a foul is called, or is walking called. Foul inside.
You know, Seth, as good of an offensive player, Kenny and Seth, as Karis LeVert is, he's also an outstanding passer. We've seen that a lot. Hits the open man. Complete player.
And Van Hook picking up that foul. Back in Duncan Robinson, he'll inbounds. To Irvin. Back in as well is Doyle, who sets the screen. Now Robinson on the baseline to Boyle. Robinson outside Walton. Who puts it up? It rattles out. Doyle is there for the rebound and the basket. Ricky Doyle. He has 4.
Nice strength there by Ricky Doyle. That was just brute force strength to get in position, get that rebound, and finish.
And Charlotte's going to turn it over. Over and back violation. Patience the key, Mark Price was saying. Trying to get this program back on track. Got new people coming in, learning his system and just learning to play together in general. Plus the fact, the size factor, that playing against most of the major colleges, they're going to be conceding.
There's not much you can do except ask your guys to play hard. As long as they give you full effort, you can't fault them. It's going to be a tough year, I think, for Charlotte.
Well, they were impressive yesterday, getting blown out by Syracuse, but then there's the jam by Ricky Doyle.
Wow, Ricky Doyle.
Wow.
He's been waiting for this moment.
Man.
And he got up.
Great. Really nice finish. Way up.
Jumped over that phone book to jam it home.
But you take Charlotte yesterday getting blown out by Syracuse, but then they came back and made a run and made a respectable second half out of it. And has to be pleased with that, the fans that have made the trip here.
But it's just one and done. They come down one shot, and that's all the 49ers are getting right now.
I don't think they're going to be cleaning up on the offensive glass tonight, do you, Tom?
No, not at all. Nice job by the Wolverines. The 49ers will have to take advantage of their opportunities.
Outside Irvin, 3. Ochibo back in with the rebound. White for 3. Strong with it. But it's brought up by Van Hook. And once again, here's Walton. Stops, pops, strong. Ochibo with the rebound.
Ochibo's the one guy with some size on that 49ers team.
He and Gressionis, who was in briefly, now back out on the bench. They are their only really big men that they have. A couple of these 6'4" guys, it might be a little generous for them. That shot by Van Hook is not there. And Doyle the rebound. Doyle has played well so far. White clears it out. Boise leaves it for White. Gets it right back. Ochibo down low, tries to hand it off inside. Goes out of bounds, last touch Michigan. Michigan leading it 28-16. Ricky Doyle, 6'9" sophomore, meaning business today. Working it inside there. Follow-up jam here, all Wolverines. Hail to the victors being sung here by the fans who've made the trip down from Ann Arbor and surrounding areas of Michigan. That's a great fight song, by the way.
It's one of the
That's
absolute best, absolutely.
Michigan up 28-16. Karis LeVert, 21 points last night. That after sitting out 8 minutes because he got in foul trouble in the first half. And ESPN has him number 16 among the top 100 players. I don't know, Seth. I might be able to move him up a little bit more than that. You saw House and Gibbs and Wilcher and the guys in there. I don't know. I think I'd put him at least. I don't see how he could not be a third-team All-American.
Well, he's certainly very well-rounded, and he plays both ends of the floor. So a lot of it's going to be determined by how well his team does. As they say, a rising tide lifts all boats. So if the Wolverines can challenge in the Big Ten, but the Big Ten's awfully good.
Another nice dish there by LeVert. You found Wagner there.
That's what he does. I mean, LeVert does so many things well, and Wagner's having a career night. He has 10 points already. This is a career high for him. Of course, again, he's a freshman, and this is only the 5th game of that career. Sullivan spins, can't get the roll. Here they come again, Walton. Dish to Wagner, outside to Irvin for 3. Out of bounds, off Michigan.
I think more importantly for Wagner is that he's getting a career-high minutes. And John Beilein has to like what he sees from the young freshman, and also, frankly, it's not liking what he sees from some of his older bigs. The sophomores, Donnell and Ricky Doyle. They do have size and strength. They can help you out on the glass, but they're just not a threat offensively.
Oh, Boise hits a 3.
Well, that was big right there for the Charlotte 49ers. Oh, Boise's going to have to get untracked. Let's see if that gets him going.
Donnell's a junior, excuse me.
His first basket here. Just over 4 minutes to go in the first half for the man who is averaging 11 on the season. Dawkins straightaway 3, not there. And 2 Charlotte players collide, Davis and White, into each other, and it goes out of bounds.
Well, good hustle. Coach Price will excuse that all day. Both were going hard for the ball. It's one of those unfortunate incidents where you run into your own player. Good hard-nosed basketball, though.
Aubrey Dawkins has not shot the ball well the last couple of games for Michigan. Still needs to develop more of a well-rounded game. Doesn't get to the foul line all that often and doesn't rebound all that often.
LeVert having a little bit of trouble inside. He stays with it and puts it through. Shrugs like just another day at the office. He has 7. Michigan up 32-19. Sullivan setting the screen out high. And Sullivan called for the charge as he lowered the shoulder into LeVert. Charlotte trying to get it going from outside. It's Braxton O'Boise hitting this 3. They need a lot more of that tonight against Michigan. Good followings wherever they go.
Yeah, they're just, you know, it's a storied program, both in basketball and, of course, in football. You see what Coach Harbaugh's doing his first year in Ann Arbor.
100 years of basketball they're celebrating this year at Michigan.
I got to tell you, I'm just a huge fan of Coach Beilein. Such a gentleman, a great teacher, obviously great success at West Virginia. He's a Jesuit graduate from Wheeling Jesuit. He's very proud of that.
3 years ago, championship game, they lost to Louisville. Then the Elite 8 the next year, but last year, Karis LeVert, among others, injured, but especially with LeVert. And it was a different type of season down the stretch for Michigan.
Nearly 40 years as a head coach, never been an assistant.
Never.
It's pretty amazing.
It really is.
Which means, by the way, he never had one of those Godfather mentors who could just pick up a phone and get you a job. I mean, he has coached at every level: high school, junior college, Division III, Division II, Division I. Never an assistant. He's a coach, he's a teacher, he's a grandfather, he's a father, he's a gentleman.
And a scholar. I thought I'd just keep it.
I appreciate that.
I wanted to kind of keep it going. Of course, he got, you know, when he did at West Virginia, certainly brought him the most recognition prior to this Michigan deal that he signed for 9 years ago.
Michigan hadn't done much from 3 tonight, only 1 for 6, but they've done everything else well. They've got scoring from a lot of different places, too.
Walton down the lane, and a blocking foul is called against Charlotte. Everything's going wrong for them now. O'Boise picks it up.
Walton has yet to score tonight, pushing the pace.
Yeah, I really like the way that Walton's been aggressive, though. He has consistently pushed that ball tempo every time he's got it in the open floor, and I think it's been one of the keys here to sparking Michigan. And the big men have been doing a nice job of running with him.
Now the junior out of Detroit. And Earlier today, several of the families were here. They had their Thanksgiving dinner earlier today.
Really, the story of the first half to me for Michigan has been the play of the big men. Wagner giving them some great minutes. Nice job offensively, getting him some points. Doyle has been impressive.
And Walton hitting that one. Here comes Davis. Blakely in the game as well for the first time tonight for Charlotte. Ball comes down low. Chibo puts it in.
Well, the big man was working hard to get open below. They finally found him. Nice job.
That's his fourth. Outside three, Wagner. He has 13, Michigan's biggest lead. A steal and a foul.
I'm going to get you to call him Mo Buckets before the night is over.
He certainly has the momentum right now.
He sure does. And stepping out and making a three, I mean, he's going to earn himself minutes, that's for sure. Giving them something that they haven't had through the first 4 games.
Well, and John Beilein loves those big guys that can shoot. Got a big man that can also hit from out front. You're going to get some minutes.
That was Wagner's first three-pointer of the season. I'm guessing won't be his last.
Doyle coming back in, Wagner going out. Getting congratulations from his teammates.
I think if you're a Michigan fan, you've got to be really encouraged at the minutes that he's giving your team. Because again, it's not just how well he's playing, it's the fact that he's giving them a dimension that they have otherwise sorely lacked.
Down the lane, finishing off the break, Aubrey Dawkins.
Michigan just has to prove that they can do it against good competition. So they'll play Washington tomorrow, assuming they win this game here today. As you see, Karis LeVert, Aubrey Dawkins finishing in transition with the left. Michigan's beat up on bad teams and look pretty mediocre against the good ones. Got to close that gap.
Oh, Boise will inbound.
Even though Zach Irvin is playing better today, didn't play well last night, just getting him this many minutes has to really help his conditioning.
And Charlotte needs those outside shots. Can't get them to go right now. It's LeVert pulling up straight away. Rebound is corralled off there by Ochibo. The real veteran on this team playing well here. Oh, Boise has hit one from outside. Can't get that one to go. Again, here's LeVert. Karis LeVert directing traffic. Shot clock at 7. Doyle hands back to LeVert. Gives it right back inside. Doyle has it rejected by Ochibo. Gets up. Nice defense by the Charlotte big man. White head fake in on the baseline against Doyle and draws the foul. Adrian White going to the free throw line. 6'3" freshman averaging 14 coming into this one. White on the season, an 80% free throw shooter, leads the team in that department. And of course, as you say it, Wagner back in. Doyle out for Michigan. White 1 out of 2. Levert in, hangs, not there. Wagner follows it up. The freshman continues to build on this career night. Or did they give that to Levert? They did. That's his fourth. Michigan's doubled up Charlotte once again. Blakely straight away. Here comes Walton. Levert to Irvin. Zach Strong with it. And at the buzzer, not there by White, and that is the end of the first half. Michigan leads Charlotte 44-22. A dominating performance by the Wolverines here over the 49ers. And standing by with Coach John Beilein, let's go to Tom.
Coach, talk about your bigs. Wagner, 13 points. Irvin, 10 points. Doyle, 6 points. You got to be happy.
Well, you know, when we watched the film yesterday, they were open a lot, and we just didn't look at them at all. And even when you're driving to the basket, you know, everybody's driving the ball like crazy. Somebody's got to give help sometimes, and you got to look for the big guy, and we did today.
What are you going to ask your team to improve upon in the second half?
Well, second half, we got to make sure that we take away any easy opportunities for them to score, keep running, and keep up really good shot selection. We scored a lot of points because we had better shot selection than we did the other night.
All right, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
And Coach Beilein heads to the locker room. His team in control. It has been a career night for the freshman from Berlin, Germany, Moritz Wagner. Charlotte getting something every now and then, but Ricky Doyle, the jam, it's too much Wolverines here at intermission. Beating the Charlotte 49ers 44-22. What can the Niners do in the second half? Tom caught up with their coach, Mark Price.
Coach, what adjustments do you try to make here in the second half?
Well, we got to do a better job, obviously, rebounding the basketball. I thought we defended their initial sets, but then offensive rebounds, one-on-one situations, they took advantage of us off the dribble. We just got to do a better job, and then we got to find a way to make some baskets. We really struggled shooting the ball in the first half.
All right, good luck in the second half.
All right, thanks a lot.
It's about all you can say. You look at Braxton Oboise. They hope he can get untracked and hit some more shots from outside. And it will be Oboise coming out along with Sullivan and White. Ochibo and Davis, the original starters for the 49ers.
You know, Boise, obviously we need to get more offensive production from him if you're a 49ers fan. Ochibo went off for a double-double last night, so he's the other guy they got to get more involved in the offensive flow.
And Walton and Levert will work in the backcourt. Doyle, who's having a big game so far, inside along with Dawkins and Irvin to start the second half for the Wolverines. Outside Walton for three.
That's his first made field goal of the evening. See him get back on track.
Ochibo loses it out of bounds. So if you're having trouble getting into the man who had a double-double against Syracuse, and Michigan is shooting outside well, the night's getting longer for Mark Price.
Yeah, it's one of those games that right now is, you know, still a lot of basketball to be played, but it's going to be one of those learning experience games. Play against a quality opponent like Michigan. Take some lessons from it, continue to compete hard.
Levert for three. Karis Levert knocks it in from outside. He has 10.
Just almost unfair. Good defense, hand in his face. And Levert just knocked that down, falling to the ground. What a special player.
White for three. Still can't find the range outside. Good hustle. Sullivan has it knocked away, though. Here comes Walton. Michigan whips it across court. Levert goes to the baseline, and he is fouled by Adrian White. Here's a look at Karis Levert. How smooth he is.
Hand in his face. He was falling to the ground and just knocked it home.
Walton and Levert really work well together. Both those guys can score. Both those guys can pass. The problem has been that in John Beilein's rotation, as he's working in his subs, the minutes that the two of them are spending on the court can be limited at times. I think it's important to keep them on the court together as much as you can.
Sullivan hits a needed basket.
And then
That's his fourth.
Then once you really get Zach Irvin going, now you've got that third leg in the stool on the perimeter. And now Michigan is Michigan again. So this is the best that Zach Irvin has looked this season. And I think the minutes that he's playing down here has got to help develop his body as well as his confidence.
That was
Aubrey Dawkins puts it in. Michigan opens up a 30-point lead over Charlotte early on here in the second half. The Charlotte 49ers players enjoying their moment at the beach. No, you go first. That's the way it is when I'm with Seth and Tom. No, you go first. And the Hornets enjoy, the Hornets, I knew I was going to say that. Where Mark Price used to be with the NBA team. The 49ers enjoying their moment in the sun earlier this week. And, you know, they knew it was a tough task ahead. And a learning experience. You wonder how much you can learn in this kind of situation, though, where it borders on you don't want to get frustrated. Bennis coming in the lineup, number 31, Gracinios, who at 15 versus Syracuse. He is a 7-foot sophomore from Lithuania. Gracionis, we'll see if Gracionis can make any kind of difference. He played well against Syracuse in spurts, but we saw him briefly in the first half, Tom, and now we'll see if Gracionis can add something inside for Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe Gracionis and Ochibu together, maybe that combination, because right now doing it with just one big inside, Charlotte's totally being dominated on both ends of the floor inside.
Unless Mark Price is going to check in the game, then whatever combination you guys want to come up with, Charlotte's just going to be overmatched. And like I said, Michigan looks good against bad competition. It's been their MO this season. Put them against the good teams, Xavier and UConn, and they've looked pretty average. So Washington tomorrow will be a step up. I don't think they're as good as Xavier or UConn, certainly. But if you're Michigan, you got to look at a team like Washington and say, we should beat these guys. If they're going to be, it should be Texas.
Tell you what, Walton's really heating up now.
Pappas is in the lineup for the first time tonight for Charlotte. Camage has it out front. Inside the jam. Gracionis, Bennis Gracionis, the freshman who transferred in from Auburn, puts it through.
Nice dish inside there. The big man with the flush.
Well, you wonder how Gracionis, how good he can be, again, as a freshman here. Played freshman ball. He's a sophomore here, was a freshman at Auburn. But he brings something you don't see with too many Conference USA teams. Guys 6'10", 7 feet. That's one thing you can't ever coach is height. You can improve on it, but it's hard to get big guys to come to mid-level, mid-major type conferences.
Excellent point, Kenny.
Over in the corner, Pappas for three. Cameron Pappas, a senior from Hillsborough, North Carolina, hasn't played much this season, but Mark Price trying a little bit of everything right now in this game. Inside, Wagner back in and scores again.
Too easy inside. Gracionis lost, I think, the feel for where Wagner was. Easy dish, easy putback. Gracionis can't have that happen.
And Scott aggressively takes it in and draws the foul. Moritz Wagner, the 6'10 freshman from Berlin, Germany. A career night 17, Michigan up big. It's been all Michigan, 59-26 over the Charlotte 49ers. Appears Michigan on their way to play Texas tomorrow on the closing day of the battle for Atlantis. It is a tournament that grew up fast, and look this year at the teams coming in here, 178 NCAA tournament appearances in their history, Final Fours, 17, 6 national championships from these programs, including one at Michigan, and 3 teams currently ranked. Gonzaga and UConn both upset today. Texas A&M upset Gonzaga. Syracuse defeated UConn. But that's the competition level that we've seen. It grew immediately from the first year when Harvard beat UCF. There were upsets with UConn getting beat along the way, along with Florida State that year, and some proof that Harvard, keep an eye on them. And then the very next year, it was like a Final Four when Louisville lost to Duke, and then the Cardinals go on to win the championship that year, and that's been the way this tournament's gone. Wisconsin winning it last year, making it to the championship game as well.
You also had, of course, the year where Kansas lost to Villanova.
Yeah.
Archie Diacono hitting the game winner.
Villanova came in ranked not very highly, and I think vaulted into the top 10 off their performance here. It can happen.
Absolutely can. We saw it then.
Derek Walton brings it in front court. Levert dumps it off to Wagner. Can't make that one.
I thought he'd never miss again.
Gracionis gets the rebound. And outside, Camage launches a 3 that's not there. Dawkins the rebound. Baseline, Robinson, whistle foul.
Well, that's a guy I want to see get untracked while he's down here in the Bahamas. Robinson, outstanding three-point shooter. We saw him hit one late last night, but he really was a little bit off. They'll need him tomorrow against Texas. Just
Like
what the
that.
doctor ordered. He must be listening to our feed.
Dr. Tom.
Good call, Tom. Robinson, the 6'8 sophomore out of Newcastle, New Hampshire.
Transferred in from Division III Williams College.
You don't see a lot of guys from D3 factoring in. He certainly has. There's the break. Dawkins missing. Foul on the play. Here we go once again. Look at Levert running the break here. Nice dish. Dawkins doesn't finish, gets the foul. Reed Albee, a 6'6 junior from Concord, North Carolina, comes in, replacing Anthony Van Hook. Pappas out to Camage. Straight away, not there. Here's Dawkins. Walton had a thought, gives it back outside to Levert. Robinson goes baseline and draws the foul.
Robinson really likes to go baseline. He likes to go baseline, and then he likes to dump it down to a teammate down below in the low blocks.
Here's the lob inside, and there's an easy inbounds 2 for Dawkins on the nice little lob in by Robinson. And they needed something in there, and they get it. Gracionis puts it through. That's his first 2. Pappas running.
Good charge.
Charge it
Well
in.
done.
Nice call, Seth.
Derek Walton in perfect position, Mr. Pappas. You got to pull up, you got to try to go around him or make the pass. Going through him, not an option.
Yeah. Walton he'd set up a campsite there. He was set for so long.
Well, it'll be interesting seeing Michigan go against Texas tomorrow night. I think Texas overall team speed, their size, their depth is going to be a lot to handle. But Michigan is not easy to defend. So as I said earlier, Michigan's good at making bad teams look bad.
Wagner gets the block. Here's Abdur-Rahman running. Skips it over to Levert for the three. Quietly building up the points. He has 13.
Big question tomorrow will be, can Texas defend Michigan without fouling? They did it pretty well for the first half tonight. Second half, not so much, but Michigan's very good at playing defense without fouling. It's not lock you down, steal it, block shot defense. Fundamentally sound defense, make you run your offense, and they don't foul. That's a signature of John Beilein's teams, much like Bo Ryan. They're not disruptive defensively, but they wall you up and don't foul. So Texas is going to have to show a little bit more defensive discipline tomorrow.
Wagner backing in on Grissionis and takes it to the other side and scores.
Mo buckets. Got 19. He had 4 total points
Ever.
on the season coming into tonight.
Of course, this is only his 5th game ever as a collegiate. Taking it in. Oh, Boise drawing the foul. Wagner continues to have a big day. So do all the Wolverines. Michigan in control. Here, and Michigan is in total control of Charlotte in this battle for Atlantis. One of the greats in college basketball passed away today, Guy V. Lewis, at the age of 93. What a great guy. 592 career wins, 5 Final Four appearances, twice national runner-up. Had Elvin Hayes, the Big E, in 67, 68, and then Phi Slamma Jamma, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Clyde Drexler from 82, 3, and 4, those runs. And I remember especially as a kid in 68, sitting on the couch with my dad from the Astrodome watching then Lou Alcindor come in with UCLA and take on the Big E, Elvin Hayes, and what was called the game of the century, and the Hughes Sports Network was doing it, and no one thought about this national level of college basketball back in 68 when the Cougars upset the Bruins, and Guy Lewis went head-to-head with John Wooden.
Well, you know, one of the greatest games I ever saw was that national semifinal when Phi Slamma Jamma defeated Louisville. I believe it was 83. And what a legend. Incredible coaching career.
And a celebration of life for many that knew him, and our condolences to his family and friends. Man that'll never be forgotten, and certainly put Houston basketball on the map back then. There's the 3 from the corner, Duncan Robinson.
Well, that's
the
what
Guy
the
Lewis
doctor
court
ordered.
they still play on there at Hofheinz, yeah. Still can't get anything inside, at least it's been rare. Gracionis has had some moments. Ochibo some moments for Charlotte, but there have been few and far between, and now the lineup has even gotten smaller for the 49ers.
I think Mark Price just asked them to switch to running time.
I probably asked him an unfair question. I said, can anybody shoot with you on your team? He said, no. I probably should have asked, can anybody in this tournament, maybe Levert, shoot with you? It's one of the great shooters of all time, Mark Price.
Well, you know, they say that the ability to shoot never leaves you, but the ability to get open.
Yeah, I'm talking just straight
Just
horse.
straight up horse. Hey.
I mean, unless...
there is nobody
You know, unless Glenn Rice is coaching another team in here, that would be interesting.
There's nobody in this tournament. I don't think there's anybody on this island
Dale Curry comes to town.
who can beat Mark Price in the game of horse right now, or certainly a free throw shooting contest.
Nice move. Abdur Rahman gets on the board.
Yeah, we asked Coach Price if he was still the all-time NBA leader in free throw percentage. He said, I think Steve Nash edged ahead of me by maybe a 1/100th of a percentage point. But he was a great one.
He also talked about, you know, his experience at Georgia Tech. Did the first year, he was part of Bobby Cremins' first recruiting class, and they were so bad, he said fans showed up with bags over their heads.
Yeah.
You remember him as a great college player and playing with John Sally, and really got that program going. And Bobby Cremins had a great run in Atlanta at that school. But it didn't start off that way, so he has the template for what he's trying to do with his own program.
And that was the last time also that he was at a college as a coach. He was assistant briefly at Georgia Tech and then went to the NBA, been assistant there for the last decade basically. And as we were talking about earlier, decided when this job came open, he was already in Charlotte with the Hornets. He wanted to stay around and try to get something going with the 49ers.
And you wonder long term, you know, he remarked about the basketball part, of course, he can do no problem, but recruiting, academics, NCAA compliance, as Mo Buckets gets a nice ovation from the Michigan fans. 19 points here tonight. But I just kind of wonder long term, someone like Mark Price, you know, are they going to be committed to coaching in college? Because there are a lot of things about the job that have nothing to do with basketball, whereas in the NBA, it's all ball. And you hear about college guys moving from college to the pros, whether it's as an assistant, a head coach, a development guy, what have you, and they're just relieved because it's only basketball. But certainly for the time being, a nice hire by Charlotte and a nice move by Mark Price, but it's going to be a while before he has the type of personnel that can consistently win in Conference USA.
Now we're seeing Robinson. He's starting to get on track. That's what we expected coming into this tournament.
They've never lost when scoring 80 or more points under John Beilein. That's an incredible stat. 43-0.
I like their odds. I like their odds to keep that streak.
I think they're going to 44-0 when they score 80 or more. That seems safe. Michigan's hit 7 out of 8 here in the second half from three-point range. Abdur Rahman got some nice minutes last night for the Wolverines. He's in there along with Robinson. DJ Wilson sets the screen out high. And Abdur Rahman takes the shot, not there. Ochibo gets the rebound. Work it to Sullivan. Inside, hanging and scoring. Nice move by Bernard Sullivan. He has 6.
Tough little shot there in the lane against a bigger defender. Put it in with some nice touch.
Spike Albrecht in the game for the first time.
Wilson hits a 3. Unbelievable three-point shooting in this second half for the Wolverines. And Abdur Rahman comes flying in to get a block. They can do no wrong. Abdur Rahman blocking shots, everyone hitting threes. Michigan continues to build. 84-39. Executive producer Daryl Ewald, David Butler, our producer, Mike Ricci, our associate producer, director Jason Vaughn, and our outstanding crew, all saying happy Thanksgiving and thanks for watching us tonight in what has been an easy game for Michigan. It was expected to be an easy game, and, well, they've done what they're supposed to do. They put this game away early. They'll be playing Texas tomorrow. And the question is, what can Mark Price and his Charlotte team take away, if anything, from this? Again, I mean, it's a program that's being rebuilt. And it's a program that has young players in it, some transfer players. So just that, plus the fact that they're having a new coach who is in his first year ever as a head coach on any level. Michigan shooting 78% in the second half.
I'm trying to think of the last time I remember a team shooting almost 79% and a half with only 6.5 to go. I can't think of one.
This is almost like this is
Villanova in 85.
I was going to say Villanova against
yeah.
Georgetown when it was, what, 2 shots or something. First thing I thought about.
16 for 20 now in the second half.
Ochibo with the rebound and draws the foul.
Well, we've talked about Texas and Michigan. They'll be playing tomorrow in the 5th, 6th place game, but Washington will be taking on these 49ers in the 7th, 8th place game.
And in Texas, there's a big football game tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? Darren George kid plays in it.
That's right. One of our officials, Darren George, his son.
He's the guy with the basketball right now.
Yep, he plays at at Allen High School. 3-time state champs last 3 years in Texas. His son is named Dallas George. He was the MVP on the defense. Blocked a field goal, ran it back for a touchdown in the state championship game in the 6A level. They've won 55 straight games, the Allen Eagles, just outside of Dallas.
And they play at a football stadium as big as Atlantis, or close to it, right?
It is an incredible stadium. The best high school facility I've ever seen.
Outside 3, not there. Yeah, Darren always keeps us informed. Gets it from back home. How they doing? How's everybody doing? It's huge. Football in Texas is huge, as you know, anyone that's passed through the state, especially high school football. Here's Joseph Ochibo. He had a double-double last night, and he has played hard throughout this game. That's what you have to like, when things aren't going well for your team and you're still out there hustling.
Yeah, he's definitely still working hard. He had the double-double last night. He's overmatched inside tonight. He's still working hard.
He has 6 points, 9 rebounds here tonight. Nice run out. Davis to White, who puts it through. I think that's what Mark Price would be looking for right here. Are you still trying to play hard? It's a blowout. It's been over for a while, but you're still out there running the court.
I think they're playing their tails off, Charlotte.
They are. They have not backed off.
This is not a result of lack of effort. Let's be clear about that. And, like I said, Mark Price took over the job in the spring and basically didn't have any players. I think we had three scholarship players in the whole program. He was scrambling. And I don't mean to denigrate anybody, but, if you're still available as a recruit at that time in the recruiting cycle, then there's usually a reason. You're not a high-level, high-major recruit, so he did well just to fill out a roster, to be honest. These guys are playing hard. I admire them, and I applaud them. They're just overmatched. What are you going to do?
There's a 3 that won't go.
Spend the year playing for one of the all-time NBA great players. Go to school, enjoy being young, do your best. There's Mark Tonello. We're kind of wondering about him.
It's the first time we've seen him in the tournament.
Well, with the emergence of Mo Wagner, then it's going to be hard for him to find minutes. But in a game like this, not entering the game until 4.5 minutes to go.
Well, Michigan's just got too much talent for this 49ers team, and certainly doesn't help when you play an opponent that shoots almost 80% the second half.
They've been hot, as we said. That's the case with a lot of middle major programs. The size factor to get big guys in there, guys that compete certainly against power conference big men.
So we'll have Charlotte and Washington tomorrow. And I remind everyone that last year, the 7 versus 8 game at the Battle for Atlantis.
Yes.
Between UCLA and UAB.
Yes.
We thought they were pretty mediocre at best teams. 4 months later, they were playing for a chance to go to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament.
That's
now, if Charlotte's playing for a chance to go to the Sweet 16, I will be quite shocked. But I was surprised last year as well.
Norm still believes in him. Norm, the Charlotte 49er. The nickname because they were trying to close down, thinking about closing down the university in 1949, and it was saved that year. They said, we got to have in Charlotte, a showcase city of the state of North Carolina, we have to keep our university open, and they did. And coincidentally, it's also off Highway 49.
Talk about that UAB performance from last year. Jared House really did a great job to bring his team as far along as he did from when we saw him here in late November of last year.
Inside with the basket, Mark Donnell. Davis back, spinning. Tough shot, hustle in there, kept alive by Van Hook. Grisionis a little short with it. Here comes Michigan.
That was clearly a foul on Donnell, but I think the refs have pretty much had it. So one of the things they're really watching out for is the defender walking up into the shooter.
Michigan getting a lot of guys in on the action right now. Wolverines winning big. Be thankful for that. Tomorrow at 7 and 9:30 here on AXS TV, we'll have Michigan taking on Texas. That'll be an interesting matchup to tip things off at 7 and at 9:30. Charlotte will play Washington. Right now, the Wolverines closing in on the most points scored by a team in the 5-year history of the Battle for Atlantis. They're 5 points away from breaking it. I predict they will.
I think you're right. Still got 3 minutes, 18 seconds. Never seen a team go over the century mark here at this great tournament. Perhaps this is the game.
Villanova had 94 against Southern Cal in 2013. The year that the Wildcats went on to win it for Coach Jay Wright. Not a shocker, but a little bit of a surprise for some when Villanova then popped right into the top 10 off that victory here on the island.
And they had a great season. I'm wondering if we might see the same thing happen with Syracuse should they win tomorrow, which have a very good chance. It is uncomfortable to play that 2-3 zone for 40 minutes. Teams just aren't used to it.
And you know, Boeheim has played it forever and a day.
That's right.
It's a lot like the old Woody Hayes Ohio State teams are going to run at you, so stop us. I'm going to play the zone, see if you can score on us. And very few times teams have been able to solve it over the years.
He's fully committed to it. End to end, wire to wire. It's all they practice.
Really gets those big, lanky defenders. They're like condors when they get their hands up. He always doubles in the short corner. You know the blueprint, what he's going to do, but it's just, like you said, it's hard to solve it.
Not a lot of really good jump shooters, and Texas A&M is not a good jump shooting team. Their front court guys, their forwards, are the better jump shooters with Caruso and Anthony Collins in the backcourt. Those guys aren't really long-range shooters per se. If you can penetrate that zone and enter it into the high post and have someone operate from there, then you can be effective against the zone. Should be a good game.
So Michigan now with a chance to set the record for most points in a big game here, and they got it on that shot. DJ Wilson. Michigan has scored more points than any team in the battle for Atlantis history.
Tell you what, DJ Wilson has got some offensive game. He's smooth.
And my apologies to Michigan fans for the Ohio State Woody Hayes reference.
Yeah, really.
I meant to say Bo Schembechler when he would say this is what we're going to do, and they would do it. That's what I meant to say.
They said about the old Green Bay Packers too, right?
That's right.
You know what's coming.
Thurston and Kramer are going to pull, stop us. How many ancient sports references you think we can do?
Yeah,
in
we're
the next
dating
2 minutes
ourselves.
there, Seth?
If you're under 30, we apologize.
We apologize.
Although, serves you right for still watching, let's be honest.
I tell you, when Enos Slaughter kept going from first to score against the Red Sox,
I hope
I
Mark
love
Cuban
the Cardinals.
I hope Mark Cuban didn't hear me say that.
Well, if he is, hi, Mark. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, Mark.
All the way in, Abdur Rahman. So Michigan now adding to that, maybe the first to ever hit the century mark in a battle for Atlantis. Hey, nice passing there. But rejected right at the last minute, Van Hook. Chapman has it. 3 on the way, and there is the 100-point mark. It was Mark Donnell hitting the 3, Michigan 100-47.
And one of the nice things about a tournament like this, you have the kind of game that Michigan had last night where they struggled. You get to come back the next night, kind of get rid of the odor of that kind of a game. Now you come out and hit 100 points tonight. Yes, it's against an opponent that you should have beaten. But look, no matter how you slice it, Michigan shot lights out here tonight. 100 points, great shooting performance.
Inside basket is good by Cameron Chapman. Sophomore out of Portland, Oregon. All the way in, White. We'll be back on the air at 7 tomorrow night. And it will be fun to see what happens. Michigan tangles with Texas. And that's it. Michigan in control throughout for John Beilein. He congratulates Mark Price. And the Wolverines playing tomorrow against the Longhorns. 102-47, Michigan dominating. So in the championship game tomorrow afternoon, it will be Texas A&M against Syracuse. Also tomorrow, it will be UConn taking on Gonzaga tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here on AXS TV. We will be with you for Texas and Michigan, and then Washington and Charlotte will close out this 5th year of the battle for Atlantis. Big night here for the Wolverines. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, for Seth Davis, Tom Walsh, and our entire crew. I'm Kenny Rice saying thanks for watching, everyone, and good night from Atlantis.